Guys, deluded. I'm back again. YouTube's N'Golo Kante / Lucas Torreira and all of them things. Now, I know the club's actually come out recently. This I believe earlier on in this afternoon, came out and said that. Well, I haven't read the statement myself, but they've issued a statement in relation to Ivan Glazides and the AC Milan interest and things like that. I need to go and read that, so I don't know what was said, what wasn't said, and things. I can only deal with the facts. Is that he's been here for 10 plus years. He's finally got what he wanted in Wenger leaving and being able to implement a lot of changes that allegedly were blocked by the man. I wasn't at the club. I can't speak for Wenger. I can't speak for Glazides, and none of you lot can. Despite how much you might think, when you look at Twitter and you look at these people that claim to have insider knowledge, unless you're directly working for the club or you're a family member or a friend of someone doing so in any capacity, it's very doubtful that you actually know what was said or what wasn't said or the actual facts about their relationship. You can all create rumours, but yeah. So if Ivan Glazides is to leave and go to AC Milan, which is being reported September the 1st, despite the fact he's in Singapore, he's been praised for allegedly giving a good speech out there in relation to what Ozil is facing with the discrimination and all them things for Germany. So we know it would be a bit of a shock if he was to leave. I wouldn't say shock because yeah, some people wanted this for a while, but I wouldn't. Yeah, it would be a shock considering Emre's come in, a man he headhunted allegedly, and all of these changes were implemented. If he was to go to Atletico, AC Milan, he'd have to start again and things like that. Regardless of if he wants to go and do it, I don't know, but. If he was to leave and does join them in September, who is going to be the next CEO? Now, again, people are panicking and they should to a degree panic, but by the same logic, and I always believe this, it doesn't matter if it's the manager. Obviously, the owner has to want to win, so he's excluded to what I'm about to say. But it doesn't matter if it's the manager. Even like Sir Alex Ferguson, it doesn't matter if it's directors. It doesn't matter if it's staff behind the scenes. No club or club that aspires to be big or whatnot should be reliant on one person. Obviously, when a man, not him, but when someone's so innovative, there's exceptions to the rule. But the success or decline of a club should not be reliant on one person. You saw it at Man United. It was mainly Ferguson. It wasn't just Ferguson. There was a lot of other men behind the scenes. But Ferguson's left. You now see what he was doing, not just on the sporting field, winning everything, but off it. These are the things. United shouldn't have had to rely on one man. Arsenal shouldn't rely on one man. For years we did, and that's why it kind of harmed us to a degree. There's no way around it. Even the starter there, the emotion was coming back of seeing all them goals we conceded. But yeah, we shouldn't. Obviously, I'm not. I'm a football man. I don't know for CEOs and all these things. Obviously, I can sit here and list basic components. They obviously need to be able to lead. They obviously need to be brave. They obviously need to have experience of doing things along this. They need to be skilled, whether it's in accountancy or management or project management or something along them lines. They have to have good budgeting, forecasting skills. A lot of these things that are needed, to be honest with you. And no, 9 times out of 10 they have to come from a similar education like Ivan Glazides because he's had an extremely good education and something like that. So yeah, I don't know if Raul Sanye off the top of my head will slide into that role. I mean, I don't know if he was chairman or so at Barcelona, but he's a backroom role. He's done bits and he's already established within his footballing world. Surely it'd be easy for him to kind of just slide in there. My thinking is that it would actually be Josh Kroenke, if I'm honest with you people, purely because February he was allegedly staying in London or moved to London to assess the club and things like that. Obviously, he's a very young man. He's got time ahead of him and he's got that youthful energy to be able to stay in this role for a substantial amount of time. And think about it logically, if Stan Kroenke, his father, doesn't want to sell the club, you install his son to go and handle it, you'll sleep easier at night. I mean, you can't necessarily always trust blood, and I know that in my experience, but who better to trust than his own son? The club, he could rest assured that it's being led in his image. There's no conspiring against him sort of thing, if you get where I'm going. So yeah. Obviously, he's also Josh Kroenke I'm referring to now. Obviously, he's a vice chairman of an organisation already. Ironically, the KSE. KSE, yeah, I said it right. If those who don't know, I mean, for years we saw a random 3 million or so coming out of Arsenal's accounts and going to KSE. It's Stan Kroenke's business, so it is a classic case of employing your son. It's not exactly like, I don't want to say a man didn't earn it because it's not fair and to be suggesting and things like that, but clearly it's because you're a son. You're a son of the man, so he's there. So yeah, he's a chairman already. He could slide into this role. Obviously, he's previously spoken about Arsenal wanting to win through harmony and he wants to return Arsenal to the big time. He wants the fans to get back on side. He wants Henri to manage the club once upon a time. He's come out and said a lot. So yeah, maybe he wants it. And he is an extremely competitive person. I remember seeing one of his quotes saying, "I'm one of the most competitive people alive." So maybe, just maybe, and I don't think that, just maybe, if he wasn't like his dad and he's on this football thing and he's not on this lying ish and he wants us to be better on a sporting front, just maybe he could come here and put an ear in his dad's ear and say, listen, we need to do X, Y, Z, and maybe just want to make us be competitive, because they've managed to make money, but generally speaking, football is a losing business. Kroenke is an exception to the rule because he's doubled his money, his initial offerings, and it's a great investment for him from a business point of view at the club. But typically, you're not making money. Like, obviously, somewhere along the line, Abramovich has made this financially lucrative for him owning Chelsea, but directly owning a football club is a loser's game. You lose a lot of money. He couldn't have, I don't want to say he didn't care for that, but he wanted to build a football club and win champs and do all them things, to which he's done, and he brought in the players. Obviously, Chelsea's going through their own issues, but you get where I'm going with that. So, yeah. That's me being extremely naive and optimistic. I think if I'm Kroenke and was fearful, if I'm Kroenke, logically speaking, you bring your son in and the regime stays. He's young, so the regime stays even more. And obviously, he clearly is the heir to a lot of assets when sadly his dad deceases. So maybe it could be more of the same. Personally, Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke. I know I would love to be employed by Arsenal, but I know you guys will never employ me. So if I'm honest, I want you guys to leave the club in all capacity. I've not enjoyed your time here. At the time when you bought the club, I was too naive to comprehend football. No, I knew football, but like the outfield stuff. And since you've got this club, it's been nothing but nonsense. I mean, you say you love the club, and you're only here when we're in cup finals with your nice little flower on the top. You just care for this money thing, and it's cool. It's cool if you care for this money thing. It's cool to be business minded. From a business point of view, what you did at Arsenal, purely business, no football involved, is great. It is. You've done fantastic from a business point of view. The problem is, I love my effing football team, and I don't believe, regardless of Unai Emery and all these guys, that we can truly be a football club that I would like to see us with you at the helm, because somewhere along the lines these things trickle down. If you want to stop a regime, or you want to stop someone making money from their lively stock, you'll shoot the shepherd. You don't go after the sheep. Obviously, you can kill all the sheeps and things like that, and I'm being extreme in this example. You can kill all the sheeps and stuff like that, and the livelihood might be there. But if it's a good shepherd and he's learnt with his money, he can go and buy more sheep. He can go and breed more sheep. If you get rid of the shepherd, the sheep are gonna die. They can fend for themselves, but it's gonna get long. There's wolves and there's all mad things going down. Of course, I'm not advocating to kill man or not. I'm using this as an example. Kroenke, I would honestly, the day you leave, I'm gonna be like people that lived in Liverpool when Margaret Thatcher called it a day. To want to put it different ways, but yeah, man. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, he's 34 years of age as well. I mean, no, he's not. He joined us at 34. He technically joined the Arsenal board at 34 years of age. He would bring youth to the board, I guess, in the majority. No, I'm not ageist. Shout out to my 70-year-old people out there. But it's a bunch of pensioners on the board. And this is why a lot of outdated decisions have been happening for time. And this is why I would actually want Wenger to write a book, because I know Wenger's done a lot of wrong, but a lot of truths are going to come out, and I know a lot of these people on the board are hiding behind this. I mean, board members has been a problem with Arsenal. The very ones that sold their soul to the devil in Stan Kroenke, and now these ones here that are never about. So yeah, man, there's nothing more to say, man. Guys, deluded. Get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out.